It's Whitney from ecovegangal.com, and I'm back in San Francisco after an amazing trip in Massachusetts. It really relaxed me. So those of you who saw my video right before I left, you know, I needed that. It gave me a lot of perspective because I realized that it's okay to need a break sometimes. But one thing I want to talk about is more of an environmental thing. I always end up focusing on food because I love food so much, but I'm equally as passionate about environmental topics, and recently I've been allowing myself to shop for clothes and shoes. And for the longest time, for most of the time, I do that at secondhand stores. I love them, and it's amazing. In both Los Angeles and San Francisco, and even Boston when I was there, there are some incredible secondhand stores. Got some dogs fighting around me. Really incredible secondhand stores, and there's a lot to find, but it's really time consuming. I mean, you might be recycling and reusing and saving money in a lot of cases, but it takes a long time. You have to go from one to the other. You know, the ones around me in San Francisco, there's like 4 or 5, which is awesome, but I have to, you know, the other day I went to I think all of them, and it took me like 4 hours. It's a lot. And so today recently I went to Ross, which is like a TJ Maxx, if you're familiar with either of those. It's basically a store that sells cheaper stuff. Oh, I gotta go get my tea real quick. I'll be right back. I'm having this awesome hot apple cider tea from Republic of Tea. It's not as good as it sounds, unfortunately. I wish it was a little bit stronger, but it's tasty. It's got the flavor in there. Oh my god, what's up with you guys? Will you stop it? Welcome to my life. Anyway, so Ross. Ross is a store that sells trendy clothes at a discount, and it's definitely something that I wouldn't normally support because the clothes, you know, if you're going to pay a discount, there's a price being paid elsewhere. I would much rather buy either recycled clothes, which I normally do, or organic and made in the USA. But in the recent weeks, I've needed specific types of clothes that have been really hard to find. And I ended up going to Ross, and I felt really guilty about it. And I ended up doing that. I had to return something, and then I ended up finding some things I liked there, and going into the temptation of it. And I made sure that the only things I bought were made in the USA, but you know, there's a reason that you're paying $10, maybe $15 maximum for this stuff. And I just sit there wondering, you know, what's going into this process? Why are they so cheap? And it's such a frustrating thing, you know, like you want, especially as women, we want to like look good. We want to wear like trendy, up-to-date clothing and all of that. But most of us don't have enough money to spend on the really high quality stuff, or the time that it takes to go and seek out the eco-friendly options. So what do? I'm still figuring that out myself. What I should probably do is come up with like a little guide on like what to buy and what not to buy when it comes to clothing. And if you have tips, I would love to hear it. Please, you know, let me know. I guess at some point though, you kind of have to let the guilt factor go, and that's a really important thing in my lifestyle. You know, a lot of people think, you know, recently actually I got this comment from someone on one of my videos. I was in Massachusetts, I was eating all this processed food, and someone's like, why do you feel so bad about it? You're already vegan. And honestly, being vegan is not good enough for me. I don't think that is, being vegan is great for the animals, but it's not necessarily great for your health or the environment. So if you haven't noticed yet, my big thing is to educate people, as I learned myself, about how to live the most sustainable lifestyle for everybody. And that comes down to clothes as well. There are a growing number of eco-friendly clothing lines out there, but they're a little bit pricey or harder to find. You know, you can't try them on because they're online. I mean, I don't even know where I would go in San Francisco. I'm sure there are places in San Francisco, but I don't know them yet. So you end up going to these other stores, and then you sit there wondering, you know, what am I going to do? Just wear the same clothes all the time? I absolutely could, but sometimes you just gotta live a little and just kind of give yourself a break and know that, we're part of a society that isn't necessarily set up for sustainability. Our society, unfortunately, is very into how you look and how you fit in. And that's true with clothing, and that's true with food. We're not set up as a society to be vegan necessarily, because it's not kind of the like socially acceptable thing yet. Basically, I'm trying not to feel guilty about these clothing, but at the same time, I think it's good that I feel guilt, because I don't want to do this all the time. This is like a rare thing. I mean, to get a few items of clothing that are brand new is something I maybe do a couple times a year. In fact, I don't really buy that many clothes very often. And I think that's good, because there's a major overconsumption. I mean, most women end up going to the mall or any type of store, every weekend and blowing all their paychecks on it, and it's just consume. They've got all this clothes, and then they don't even know what to do with them, and then they end up in the trash. And the smart women go out to clothing swaps and stuff like that, which are actually a really great way. Once they build better connections in San Francisco, I can't wait to do that. But yeah, I think it's very important to have that balance of feeling guilty, because guilt reminds us that it's not just about ourselves, but it's about how it affects everybody else. And then once you've accepted the reality of that, sometimes, giving yourself a break and living a little. But again, the balance is really key, because I think we can often convince ourselves that we need to give ourselves a break a little bit more often than we really should be. And then that just becomes this perpetuating cycle, and the next thing you know, you're shopping at Ross all the time and trying to convince yourself it's okay. So just quickly, a couple of reasons why these clothes have a negative effect. If you're buying clothes outside of the United States, it's very common for very poor wages and children to be involved. I'm sure that can even happen in the United States. I'm not really informed enough on that topic as it is. Also, there's a lot, the materials they're using, if you're not using organic materials, there are chemicals involved, and the dyes that go into all these clothing are affecting the earth, affecting the people making it, and affecting yourself, especially if you don't wash it first. So it's very important to wash your clothes after you buy them. Again, this is not my specialty. I should definitely learn some more about it before I elaborate, but those are the quick little facts I know off the top of my head. So I would recommend for you to buy recycled from your, get it from your friends, do clothing swaps, go to secondhand stores. Don't be embarrassed. A lot of secondhand stores, even like Goodwill and Salvation Army, have awesome stuff in them. In fact, this dress is secondhand, this necklace is secondhand. Most of my clothing, you can even get great shoes secondhand. And then, of course, support the companies. There's a great organic basic clothing called bgreen apparel out there. There's also ecolissa, which I finally met the woman that runs that in Boston, and she's incredible. So it's definitely a thing to support. And remember that you're spending your money for high quality stuff. A lot of times when you buy the $10, $20 stuff, that it falls apart much faster than the stuff that you would spend maybe $50 on. So that's it for now. More coming from me, journal style. Thanks for watching as always, and let me know if you have any more comments, questions, advice on eco clothing. I'd love to hear your own stories on that, and I'll see you next time.